Something happened to you a long time ago or recently, and you have done everything but sit with the emotions. You have run, you have formed activity, you have joined, extra service units, you have taken on more responsibilities. You're doing everything but facing the thing that is causing you the most hurt and pain. It's not going to magically go away because you haven't addressed it. It's not going to magically disappear because you are acting like it doesn't exist. It's an emotion and it's still going to be there, and it's going to wait for you until you're ready to face it. And if you decide that it doesn't exist, it will sip into other areas, of your life. So sit with it. Emotions, especially the sad ones, they can be very uncomfortable, but it's not better for you to fix it today and then be at peace tomorrow than to just assume or act like it doesn't exist today and then you still have to deal with it tomorrow. Sit with your emotions, name them, okay? Call them what they are and use the word of God, about that situation and deal with the emotion. Don't just sweep it under the rug. One day you don't have space to sweep anything under again. There's no better time to address your emotions than today. So what are you waiting for? What? Oh, I don't like to assume that you know what to do and how to sit with your emotions. So I would be telling you a few ways that you can do that. Okay? First of all, you can put on some instrumental. I like worship instrumentals. Okay, so just have that playing something in the background. You can have a journal with you. It's a very practical, very easy ways that you can sit your emotions. Have your journal, have a pen, sit in a quiet place, possibly maybe you're alone, and think about the situation that is causing you hurt or pain, and the person maybe that comes to mind when you're thinking about that emotion that you're feeling, and admit that you're hurt. Admit that you're in pain, admit that you're upset, you're angry, you feel let down, disappointed. Many of us don't even have the words in our vocabulary to define how we feel. We just, we use umbrella terms for how we feel. So you could Google feelings wheel. It shows you different emotions to help you identify exactly, how you feel about certain things. So you ask yourself, okay, so why is this hurting me so much? Why am I this upset about it? Why am I angry about it? What did this person do or say, or what didn't this person do or say to make me feel how I feel? Why is it hurting me the way that it is? What part did I play in it? Because many times I find that with people that I work with, we tend to take on blame for things that we didn't even do. And then we tend to put the blame on another person also sometimes for things that we ourselves did. So when you're able to sit and evaluate and think clearly, if you need to apologize, or if you need to be assertive, or if you need to just be careful, or if you need to draw boundaries, in the future, and all of that. So when you admit, because many times the issue lingers because you do not admit that something made you feel a particular way. It also gives you the words, to use to express yourself if you need to communicate whatever you're going through with another person or the person that you had like an altercation with. And then when you're done, that you could write in your journal. If you want to write letters to the person, you could write it in your journal, but don't send it to the person, okay? Especially when you're really angry or, about the particular situation. And then you pray. I know that things get better when you pray about it. How many times we do everything, we talk, we complain, we gossip, we do everything but pray for the person and pray for our hearts about the situation, So I also remember that love does not insist on its own way. Many times we have issues with people or ourselves because we're insisting on a way that we want things to be handled. But the same way that you say all the time that you're unique, other people are unique as well, and you have to make room in your heart, or for the uniquenesses of other people as well. So understand that even if the way that you thought something should have been handled was not handled like that, you have to remember that the person, no matter how similar you guys are, you are not the same people. Okay, so when you're done thinking about that, you could decide what the next step is supposed to be, whether to have a conversation with the person, so you reach out, or you could decide that, okay, going forward, I'm not going to do this anymore. Okay, or you could own up and say, okay, I didn't speak well, or I didn't react well, and then that you might have to apologize, for wrong reactions and all of that. But I believe that when you pray about situations, especially conflicts, it makes everything more manageable. And finally, I want you to know that if the reason for your sadness or hurt is conflict with a person, you need to normalize conflicts. Conflicts in itself is not a bad thing. I don't know, we make it look like when you have a relationship with the person or you have a notification with the person, it means that the world's coming to an end. Conflict is not a bad thing. It's actually a blessing. It reveals the intent of people's hearts. It reveals motives. It also reveals uniquenesses and differences. And so that's in itself not a bad thing. So conflict between friends, conflict between partners, conflict between colleagues. We need to stop demonizing conflicts, and understand that it's a blessing. Actually, depends on your perspective about it. But conflict in itself can be a blessing depending on how you manage it or how you utilize the lessons that you learn from it. So when you're done, to choose not to walk in shame or to cover your head in condemnation or to mope around or wear like a long face and everything. Just choose to, okay, I learned. Let your disposition be that, okay, lessons learned, and then move on with that. But it's not time to start generalizing, I will never do this, or all men are scum, or all men are this, or friends are bad. It's just time for you to learn, pick up the pieces, and then you continue with your life. If you need a good cry, please cry. If you need to take a walk, please walk. Whatever that will help you feel better, or at least have like a clear head on all of that. So yeah, I hope that this helped you to think.